What is up, guys? Welcome back to the KC Sports Memes podcast. This is Megatron. I'm here with Drew, Tony, and Marvin. What is up, guys? How you doing?
Doing great. Chiefs
Doing
got the
good.
1 seed.
Doing good.
I know there's a lot of stuff that happened in sports this week. It felt like, yeah, Tony was really excited about that.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
there
really
watching the game
excited.
with him and just pumped, yelling, screaming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
happy.
that sounds like
We got a really great show lined up. We're getting back to talking about more sports, which I really enjoy. Different sports coming back on, NBA coming back. We got, we'll be talking about the Royals starting off, a little hot stove discussion. We had that requested, plus I've wanted to do it for a while. Anyways, then we'll talk about the NBA a little bit. We'll talk about that more starting next week, but we'll give a few updates on this episode. Then we'll do our usual 6 key games from the past week in the NFL, and then a rundown of the rest of the games, and then Chiefs recap, and then what to look forward to for the next week, both as an NFL fan, looking forward to seeing what teams will get into the playoffs, and then also as a Chiefs fan, getting ready for that Chargers game. But before we get into things, I'd like to take just a quick moment to talk about a company that reached out to us called Phoenix. That's FNX. And they sell supplements, gear, apparel, a bunch of different stuff. Really great company, really great group of guys starting that up and really hardworking. They gave a promo code for us to give to you guys, and it is FNX KCSM, and you get 15% off your order when you purchase one of their products at phoenixfit.com. Like I said, highly recommend those guys and use their products, wear their apparel all the time. So go check them out. First of all, Royals. I'm really looking forward to this next season. Made a few big moves so far this offseason. Most recently, we signed Irvin Santana to a minor league deal. I was excited to see that. He's a pitcher that if he does end up moving up to the big leagues, that knows the city, even if it was, 8 years ago, the last time he started. But we've definitely been lacking in pitching in the past few seasons. No, Marvin, you don't think so?
I didn't say nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, then we also added Greg Holland, another former pitcher. I was looking over some of the stuff. Like I said, looking forward to this next season. I know Matheny said recently that it is realistic, he thinks, for the Royals to win the division this year. Judging from the past few seasons, that'll be tough. That's saying a lot. But I think if Salvi stays healthy, I think we have strong chances of making something happen this year. What do you guys think?
Drew.
I think we got a lot of strengths on this team. First up, Salvador Perez is a key piece. If he is not healthy this year, it's going to hurt our lineup a lot. Him batting 300 plus last year really boosted up our lineup once he got back. Another strength of our team is, I think, going to be our starting rotation. You've got Brady Singer, Jackson Kowar, and Chris Bubich. All three were rookies just last year. They're only going to improve. You got Mike Minor, who we just that was one of our new signings to a mid-level deal. He was in Cy Young conversations as recently as 2019. And then Danny Duffy's back. So that rotation could be very good. We still need maybe another outfield bat with Merrifield. And then we might have a couple others. We got Dozier at third or in the outfield. So we may need a third baseman or an outfield bat. But other than that, we're looking pretty solid with our new signings. And I'm pretty excited for this next season.
Yeah, and Singer was playing pretty good the last season as a rookie. I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, and another guy I forgot to mention was Brad Keller. Might have been our best pitcher last year. We still got him in that rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, I'm used to trashing on the Royals, but I watched a couple games at the end of last season, and maybe I should stop doing that because you know how they are. You trash on them one game, and the next they're like, You shouldn't have said that. And I shouldn't have said that. So I'm actually looking forward to this season. Something I have not been able to say for the past couple of years. So that's a good thing.
I think there's potential there, at least. And like I said, you mentioned a good starting rotation. I think our pitching was better last year, but I really meant in general over the past few seasons. I think that's something that's been lacking more than anything. Even last season, I saw it some with, having the lead and then giving it up in the later innings, in multiple games. And so, I'm really looking forward to this next season, hoping, the Chiefs were really coming off that Royals success. So I'm hoping with the Chiefs success, maybe Royals can do the same. We'll see, though.
Right, Tony?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Sure.
Way to sound positive. All right, then.
He must be a Cardinals fan or something,
I'm not a Cardinals fan.
Worse. Dodgers.
Yankees.
No, I'm Royals first. Dodgers is my 1.5.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your favorite sports league, Tony. Let's talk about NBA. Please.
NBA.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NBA. Like I said, we'll discuss this more starting next week as the NFL season's over. NBA is really heating up. I made the decision to kind of wait, and Marvin and Drew both said that they really wanted to talk about it this week. And the more that I once I said we could add some of it in, the more I saw a lot of updates that we really should be talking about or should have already talked about. So I'm really looking forward to adding it in more consistently. It's been a really interesting season so far. I don't always keep up with it the best, but I've been keeping up with it more. And I mean, there's a few big things that I kind of wanted to talk about is a few of the injuries that are hurting some of the teams, especially two of my favorite teams, the Heat and the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, starting off the season, leading the Grizzlies, doing really good, but now is out for 3 to 5 weeks with an ankle sprain. Jimmy Butler has an ankle sprain. So that's really rough for both of those teams. But then you have the players that are doing really good, that are always good. I mean, Westbrook, I think it was tonight, he was one of the first players to get a triple-double in the first 3 games of the season. I think the Bucks set a record against the Heat tonight, as of recording this Tuesday night, 29 threes. So, yeah, this is a pretty interesting season so far. It's cool seeing them play. There's some of the teams playing in their own stadiums too.
Can I roast the Clippers now?
Yeah, good.
All right. I've been looking forward to this. You almost took it from me, and I was not happy, but
Almost.
Persuading you to let me talk Clippers was great. So the Clippers played the Mavericks, and at halftime it was 77-27 against the Mavericks. All right, according to my good friend Drew, which I was not aware of this until earlier today, Kawhi Leonard was out of that game, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With or without Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers should not have allowed the Mavericks to get up that high by halftime. That was ridiculous. Awesome, but ridiculous. According to my notes, that is the biggest halftime lead in NBA history. That is insane. And the Mavericks would go on to beat the Clippers 124-73. Garbage. The Clippers are
Clippers?
Yeah. They're garbage.
The Clippers, I was just gonna say, wasn't it Clippers scored 30 points in the third, and that's the only time that they outscored the Mavericks, and that's also, didn't you say the other night, Drew, that that's the only time they scored above 20 or above or anywhere near 30 points was in that third?
Oh yeah, I don't know if they got near 20. Like 17 might have been their next best for a quarter.
Yeah.
It was.
They got 13 in the first quarter, 14 in the second, 30 in the third, and 16 in the fourth.
Yeah.
That is garbage.
Yeah.
Downright garbage.
Yeah,
Garbage.
you can't even play the injury here because Dallas is still without Kristaps Porzingis as they've been without him for this entire season. I think that was the Mavericks' first win as well. They played horrible. I don't even think that 7-win Bobcats team from back in 2011 ever lost this bad. I mean, it was pathetic. The only reason that it was as close as it was is because the Mavericks started playing backups in the second half. Yeah, Clippers should not be a contender putting up these numbers. I mean, it was bad even without Kawhi Leonard. It was bad.
It's ridiculous, but awesome, but ridiculous.
True.
Clippers are garbage. Okay, I need to save energy for the Bucks, so I guess I'm done for the moment.
Yes, you do.
Clippers are garbage. Come on, man. Haven't I made that clear?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think so. True words.
Mentioning one more injury, the Nets were looking like one of the best teams in this league with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Spencer Dinwiddie has torn his ACL. It's a big piece on that team. And whether you think that they should trade for James Harden or keep the depth, this was going to be a big piece in the trade or a big piece on that team either way. It's going to hurt them. We'll see what Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving can do in their first full season together. Obviously, Lakers still being heavy favorites.
Unfortunately.
No, yeah, I'm really looking forward to how it. I'm looking forward to seeing how this season it goes. Not having to stop halfway through and continue or whatever. Just having a full season again. It's been nice seeing that in sports. So,
right, Tony?
Whatever you guys say.
He just loves basketball. He loves basketball.
That's my sport. I love it.
I mean, he couldn't believe that LeBron James wanted to go play for San Diego.
I was all night. I was thinking about it. It was going through my mind. I even dreamed about it, Marvin.
Dreamed about him going to San Diego. That'd be crazy, especially since there's not a team there.
Yeah.
All right, moving from that from the NBA, going to the NFL. A lot of good games this past week. With the season coming down to a close, week 16. The first game I have up is the Seahawks versus the Rams. That was a really good game. That was a big defensive game by both teams. It was tied 6-6 at half. With this win, Seattle clinched the division. With this win means that the only way for the Rams to make the playoffs is through the wild card. We'll talk about that more later. What do you have on this one, Tony?
Yeah, looking at this game, I think this was the game of the week. That's why it was on Fox's game of the week. And I mean, it was 11-point game difference. And again, I project, this was, again, like Megatron stated, a win for Seattle in the fact that they win the division. So I knew that you can say that this would have been a close game, and it was. And, offense for Seattle was not, again, like Megatron said, was a defensive game. And Wilson, 225, 1 touchdown, 20 of 32. But again, I'm going to give my opinion on the Seattle Seahawks. Is at first going forward, Russell Wilson's my MVP. Seattle's the team to go to the Super Bowl. Seattle's disappointed me throughout the season, honestly, just with sometimes inconsistency. And so Seattle's not. We'll probably talk about this later concerning playoffs. But again, Seattle gets the division. What seed are they? Are they 3, 4?
3 right now.
3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but will they go far in the playoffs? We'll see. But good win for them.
Yeah, for sure. Seattle winning that 20-9. Yeah, really interesting game. Really interested to see if the Rams end up making it to the playoffs. That was a huge divisional game.
Did you hear that Jared Goff isn't playing in the season finale?
Yeah.
Really?
Was it
Yeah,
AAF player? Was there?
No, Blake
Right.
Bortles is going to start.
Oh, really? I did not know he was off of Denver.
Yeah.
he's on your practice squad, so you can take him.
Okay.
That's how we got our kicker.
But yeah, with that loss,
Yeah.
this is the worst possible game the Rams could have had. Not only losing, but losing your starting quarterback. He had a thumb tear. He had to have surgery on it this last week. So it'll be interesting to see, even for the playoffs. Worst possible way to lose is to lose your starting quarterback in the process. But Blake Bortles, I mean, he led Jaguars to an AFC Championship game. So
Somehow
Sure.
that was
I still don't know how that happened.
that whole playoff run was like a glitch. The Jaguars should not have made it that far.
No way.
When is the
That was
last
like
time
Madden.
Hey, Drew. I got a question. I'm looking at this news, and maybe it's just wrong, but it says that John Wolford is starting for the Rams. I may be wrong on that.
Is he?
Rams did sign Blake Bortles, so I mean I don't know if they're counting on that for a playoff run or.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it's set. I guess who's starting then.
Oh,
but since it is early in the week, so I guess we'll see. But either way, like two quarterbacks that one, I don't even think I've really heard of that guy, and then two, like Blake Bortles, who I don't even remember the last time he's played in a game. And
2018.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like, not
2
even
years ago.
Not even sure like how good either of them will do when the Rams really need to get this win. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Next up,
don't think Rams are going to playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they will either. But like I said, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
Once we get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, I think you're right on that, Tony. I think it is going to be Wolford. That's the plan right now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw something about somebody from the American football. No. Another football league. But
Another football league.
What? What was it called? The AAF or the? I don't know what it's called. American.
Another football league sounds better. Yeah.
Another.
AFL.
I don't know. Maybe it was.
They should start Bortles, like you should have. You didn't listen to me. Now look what happened. Now the Rams got him.
There's a reason why you didn't start Bortles.
Should
you think Bortles
playoffs if?
Yeah, because Bortles is going to lead them to the Super Bowl and they're going to win.
Hey, if he does, that'll be so awesome.
No, really?
Jaguars won't like
over
that.
Kansas City?
He's in the NFC. He's on the Rams.
You just
Super Bowl, not win.
The Super Bowl, not win.
Yeah,
okay.
not win.
Okay.
Yeah, just two.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from that game, going into the Jets and the Browns. The Browns had really been impressing me lately, and I don't think this means that the Browns are a bad team, but I don't really know what it means. I don't know what this means for them. Darnold and the Jets looked really good this game, even doing some trick plays for one of the touchdowns. They really outplayed the Browns in this one. Browns had multiple chances at the end of the game to drive down the field and win. But this really puts them in a tough spot going into the last week. And real quick, before I turn it over to you, Drew, if this is the last season of Frank Gore, this is a really bad way to go out, but I'm glad he did play in the game that they got their first win. He is going to be out for the last game of the season, but what a career for him. I said if this is his last one, 16 seasons, 240 games played, which is most by a running back. 9 1,000-yard seasons, which put him at third most rushing in NFL history with 16,000 yards. So what a career by that guy. I'm hoping he plays. another season. Hopefully, he can go out on a better season than that. But
The Chiefs.
yeah, sign with the Chiefs. That would be cool, actually. What do you have on this game, Drew?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's sad. It might be sad if this were to be Frank Gore's last game. That would be obviously disappointing. But at least he got to play on a Jets team that now has 2 wins and has a shot to get a 3rd win, even if he's not playing this next week against the Patriots. But no, when you look at if you look at stats, and I know stats aren't everything, but it looks like the Browns should have outplayed him. Baker Mayfield had 285 yards to Sam Darnold's just 175. There was no interceptions thrown by Baker either, so he wasn't just turning the ball over all the time. The running game, I mean, Frank Gore had 50 yards. That's it. So they didn't really get a lot going on offense, but they just managed to win this game. A little bit confusing. I don't know what it says about the Browns as a team, as the Browns are actually looking towards the playoffs. Jets are looking towards that number 2 pick as they've locked that up. When you look at this Browns team, the Rams, after losing to the Jets last week, kind of didn't put up a very good showing against the Seahawks. I don't know if that's going to be the same for the Browns. I don't know if after losing a game like that, the confidence is going to go down or not, but they need to get it back up. Obviously, they almost beat that Ravens team in a game that I thought the Browns were legit after that game, and then they come out and do this. I'm not sure what to think of them at this point. They got a tough game against the Steelers this week.
Yeah, which the Steelers don't have anything really to play for at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the division, and so they're in the playoffs. I mean, it's against a division team, but it's kind of like the spot that the Chiefs are in. It's just like, do you play tough against a division team, or do you go ahead and, rest some of your guys? Because they're going to be playing sooner than the Chiefs are too. So I think Browns will probably end up winning that game. I guess this is kind of what we're going to be talking about a little bit later too on, if the Browns will get into the playoffs. But yeah, just a weird game. Yeah, because I was looking back at some of the highlights and stuff, and yeah, Jets just played them really well. Yeah, they had 2 drives, like I said, at the end, and Jets defense stepped up. I think Baker fumbled it on one of those, on one of their last drives, and turned it over. And so, yeah, I guess Jets defense just played really good, even though, like you said, stat-wise, Baker still had a good game. Yeah, Jets winning that 23-16.
Yeah, and Jets were up 3-20 at one point too. I mean, they let the Browns a little bit back in that game. They were dominating there for a good portion of the football game.
Yeah, I did not expect that one at all. Man. Yeah, because when we were talking about like Jets, whether they were going to win a game, this was one of the ones I was like, no, they're not going to win it. I figured they would, stay winless until Patriots this next game. But man, yeah, crazy game.
Yep.
Going from that one to the Packers versus the Titans. We had a lot of discussion before and after this game on TikTok. There were a few people saying that the Titans were going to win. We all picked Packers. I know Drew said that he could see it going either way, but there were some people picking the Titans to win by pretty big, or saying that Packers have the worst run defense and the Titans have the best running back. It's kind of debatable on the best running back part for me personally. But you see Rodgers in this game making his push for that MVP race. I know that's kind of debatable there. I really don't think Titans are the team that they used to be, or that people think they are. Henry did not have any big plays this game. Only had 98 yards, and they just haven't really impressed me. And they're on the verge of not making playoffs either. Marvin, what do you have on this one?
Well, to all those who thought the Titans were going to win, do you even watch football? Come on. The Titans are not where they were last year. I don't know what the Titans are this year, to be honest. But looking at this game in particular, the Packers beat the Titans 40-14. Ooh, that's gotta burn. Aaron Rodgers threw 25 times, had 21 completions, an 84 completion percentage, pretty decent, and 4 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. As for the Titans' precious quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, he threw 24 times, had 11 completions, a 45.8 completion percentage, not as good as Mr. Aaron Rodgers, who is the GOAT. And he also had 1 passing touchdown and 2 interceptions, Mr. Tannehill did. Very unfortunate. As for the Titans' star running back, Derrick Henry, who on TikTok, people keep saying he's like the greatest running back of all time. No, he's not. My dear children, Derrick Henry had 98 rushing yards and 23 rushing attempts. He had no rushing touchdowns, and I don't know about you, but I think my grandmother could run faster than that. So, what are my thoughts on this game? The Packers are looking legit. I want Patrick Mahomes to win MVP, but I gotta be honest, I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna win it for the 3rd time, which, come on, he actually does deserve it. On this season, he has 44 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and over 4,059 passing yards. And I don't know about you, but that's looking pretty good in my book. And yeah, the Packers just dominated the Titans in this game. The Titans are trash, obviously. And for those that don't agree with me, watch more football. Thank you.
I agree in the fact I agree with Megatron. The fact what Megatron said about the Titans, I don't think they're the team that people maybe hype them up to be. But let's look at the conditions as well. Not saying that I'm not trying to discredit the Packers, but we're playing at Lambeau. We're playing with snow. And so you got Tennessee compared to Lambeau. But again, I agree 100%. The Packers are legit. The Packers can be scary. The Packers are a feared team. And but with Henry averaged 4.3 yards a carry. That's not terrible. That's not bad. Excuse. No, it's not an excuse.
Okay, well,
just saying,
just real quick. So that's not bad, but Green Bay also had 2 running backs that had. No, Dillon had 124 yards. Jones had 94 yards, almost as much.
Okay,
as Henry.
Just because they do better doesn't discredit what he's doing. They've just done better than what he's doing.
Like 2 running backs that.
Yeah, but Henry still did okay.
Yeah,
he didn't do terrible. But again, this game was way out of the water. Packers 40-14. They're the team to beat in the NFC, I think, besides the Buccaneers.
Yeah. Child.
Packers.
We'll get to that.
Oh, Packers don't have, or do they have home field advantage?
They haven't.
Yeah, they're the first seed.
Not yet.
Oh, they haven't.
Not yet. No,
yeah, they're 12-3.
It's not locked up though.
Yeah.
No, if they have it, I think theirs is probably one of the best home field advantage. I think you have different ones. I think Arrowhead. I think it can still get loud. I still think that can be a little bit of home field advantage, but I think one of the best right now with no fans is the weather at Lambeau.
Kansas City too, though.
Yeah, just like with Lambeau, like on an even more extreme level with. With how much colder it can get, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Megatron, I completely agree. You look at the teams that are going to be competing. Tampa Bay, that's in Florida. New Orleans, you got LA, you've got all those different teams. Those are all southern teams. They are used to playing in warm weather. Packers are going to have a big home field advantage in the playoffs playing up in that cold. But when I look at this MVP race, and we talk about Aaron Rodgers as the front runner right now, I think he's pretty much locked it up. And now hear me out on this. Mahomes will be lucky to play a half of football next week, if any. We'll talk about that a little bit later. There's no way he can overtake Rodgers for the award. And so this is the MVP, and he just further proved why. He's playing for the best team in the NFC. And it's because of him. This Packers team is so, so good. They just further proved it this week against the Titans team that you guys said not sure what to think about. Yeah, I agree, but let's not pretend that this has been a horrible season for the Titans. I mean, the Titans went on a good run last year, but they only had 9 wins. They've already are 10-5. They could go up to 11 wins, and I expect them to this week. So that's still 2 more wins or 1 more win at worst than last season. So they did go on a run last season to make it look a little bit better, but And this Titans team is not a whole lot worse in the regular season than they were last year. They still got Derrick Henry, who I think is the best running back in football. He did have an off game, but he's still rushing for close to 200 a game on most nights. I mean, it's been insane what he can do. He's very hard to stop. They got a good defense led by Kevin Byard in the secondary. So this is an okay Titans team. I don't know, now that people are starting to figure him out, how they could make a run this playoffs, but it'll be an okay team. I still think they can lock up the division.
Yeah, I think they're a good team, but Marvin said it last week. I think they're too inconsistent. I know they can be a good team, even a great team, but it's the fact that you have to ask, like, are they going to be this week? That makes me question them a lot and not really put a lot of trust in them as a team. I don't discredit them. I think, like I said, I think they're a good team. It's just not consistent enough for me to say they're a great team. And then with Henry, I'd said it on TikTok to somebody that I think he gets shut down too easily in big games. I think you saw that versus Kansas City in the playoffs. I think you kind of saw it here, when they're making a playoff push. But again, not to discredit him as a player, I think he's still one of the best, if not the best. But yeah, no, I'm really interested to see if they end up making that, making the playoffs. I mean, right now they're set to.
Okay.
Yeah, with a win, they do win the division too.
Who are they playing?
They play Houston.
Yeah, I saw this debate somewhere where, how J.J. Watt had his thing on Sunday where he was talking to the media? Or was that yesterday? Whatever day it was. Someone was saying that might have hyped up the Texans, so they might have something to fight for against the Titans. They want to finish the season strong, and this is how you do it. Beat the division rival.
Yeah,
so
true.
It may not be as easy as everyone thinks it's going to be.
Yeah.
But then again, it is the Texans, so.
I have something to say about Derrick Henry not looking as good against the Chiefs and against the Packers. I wonder if that has a little bit to do with scheme. I mean, look at the people that he's had worse games against. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Do you guys think that maybe they're not running the ball as much just because they know that they got to get in a shootout with these better quarterbacks? And if so, is that smart because they have not been scoring as many points when they do that?
I haven't thought about that.
I can see it.
That might be it. Yeah, because, I mean, he didn't run that much. Even like watching over the game, watching over highlights and stuff, you never saw like big running plays by him or really hardly any running plays by him. And so that could be true that they just think they need to do that when it's like, no, like just run the ball with Henry and he'll warm up and just take off.
I like that thought because in the divisional round last year, he was running with Lamar Jackson because, he can't throw. And then the game before, wild card, it's Tom Brady, and, he's trash. So,
True.
So I like that thought. Mahomes can throw, and no one else can.
Yeah. And so they decided to rely on Tannehill to try and be their guy. Like, oh, yeah, we'll compete with him.
Well, yeah. Against Rodgers, because, that's going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to my stat sheet, that did not work.
It did not at all. What is, as Tony said, Packers won that one 40-14. Man, yeah, just a blowout there. I think one of us, or at least some of us, called that it was going to be a pretty big win by the Packers there. So that's what I thought.
You got a comp? Yeah.
Or no, that was on the Bills.
Oh, Bills.
I had a closer one. I had 27-20.
I think Drew had a closer one. I think it was me and Marvin that might have had blowout wins, or that we didn't think it was going to be close. But
I don't remember, but I'll agree with it.
Yeah,
even though I don't remember.
I want to be right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from that one. The Saints-Vikings game was another blowout win. Not even, I don't know. It was close in some parts. I think both teams played great. Kamara went off in that game. Saints looked really good, even if it was, just against the Vikings. I still
All
don't.
Kamara.
Yeah, I still don't like the Saints as a team because of how dirty they can play. Sorry, Marvin. But Breeze and Kamara really impressed me. This was still a great game for the Vikings, though. I think they still looked really good. They just couldn't keep up, like Tony said, with Kamara. But yeah, Marvin, what do you have on this one?
All right, well, let's see. Well, the Steelers beat the Colts 28-24 in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball 49 times. And
Hey,
wait a minute.
Marvin.
Am I talking about the wrong game? Oh, well,
Yes.
that's embarrassing. Well, since I'm already here, and no one wants to talk about the Vikings, and you know how garbage they are.
Besides
And,
that, you wanted to talk about the Vikings.
Well, did I though? Well, anyway, blah blah blah. That's embarrassing. I have here the Steelers game that no one picked. So I think I will talk the Steelers game.
So
We can
just-
talk the Saints. We
Let
can talk
me
the
just tell you
Saints.
something about the Saints.
What? Go ahead.
Since you're going to move on to another game, let me just say what I was just going to say.
This is my game. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm sitting
Tony, what were
right
you
here.
gonna say?
Ready?
About the Saints game, I think it was all Kamara. I
Yeah.
don't think Breeze. He's going downhill. I think, just personally.
I think. Well,
This
I think
game
it was
was all
with injury because
Excuse. Why?
even against the Chiefs, Breeze played a really good game. Or like we talked about, completion was terrible, but he had the yards. He had the touchdowns. I think he played a really good game. But even then, he said he wasn't at 100. Marvin, hold on. And so what? Kamara had 6 touchdowns, right? Yeah, scored a 6-1 at the end, and tied for the most. By running back, right? Or was it just in general?
Tied for most in a game.
Yeah. So
For running back, I think.
yeah, really good game by him. I know a lot of fantasy football teams were happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin. Steelers and Colts.
Yeah. I was going to talk Saints, but I was like, you know what? My friends here didn't pick Steelers, so I got to talk Steelers
Why
because
didn't you let your fellow podcasters know that?
Yeah.
so I did. I let one know, but I won't say who it was. Anyway, Drew. Anyway, so as I was saying, I was really interrupted. I mean, I'll put this in the bad review section on Apple Podcasts. Marvin was rudely interrupted during his segment. I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball 49 times, 34 completions, 69% completion percentage, 342 passing yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. Okay, Philip Rivers threw the ball 35 times, 22 completions, 62.9 completion percentage, 270 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 interception. Okay, so we all got that good nonsense out of the way. Steelers beat the Colts 28-24. The Steelers were supposed to lose this game for the Chiefs on the off chance that they lost to the Falcons, which we'll get to that later. You know how the Steelers won? By the refs. You know what happened? Big Ben paid off the refs. That's the most logical explanation. The Colts were dominating. Yes. I mean, the Colts were dominating the whole game. They were dominating. The Steelers were supposed to lose. I mean, look, no one even showed up to the game. The stadium was empty. No one wants to watch the Steelers.
I mean,
because
there's the coronavirus.
Because the Steelers are garbage. I've been trying to tell everyone that all season long.
Yeah,
and
they're garbage when they win.
Don't say. Have you seen their schedule? It's like they're playing the Browns every single week. Except when they actually did play the Browns. And they almost lost.
I was looking at strength of schedule starting out the season compared to like now, looking back. And they actually have had like a tougher schedule than like what it originally seemed like. That's okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
But
they're 12-3.
Come on. Don't get me started on that. I'm just like, Pittsburgh is terrible. You all kept saying they were going to be undefeated. I know. This is, everyone that listens, all 5 of you, you know how every week we talk about the Steelers and like we talk about the exact same things where I'm like, Steelers, my admins here had Steelers going 16-0, and I said no, that was going to happen. I bet you're getting tired of hearing that. I'm getting tired of talking about it.
Then why are we talking about it? Because we didn't even pick the Steelers game.
Because the reason no one picked it is because they won. We only talk about it when they lose. And the reason I'm talking about it because they won is because they should have lost to the Colts because the Colts winning the whole game. Yes, I know they lost. But Steelers are trash. I've been trying to tell you that all season long.
We'll see. We'll see once it gets into playoffs.
11-0. 3 straight losses to Washington, Buffalo. Oh, okay. Yeah. And Cincinnati. No team that loses to Cincinnati deserves to go to the Super Bowl, let alone the AFC Championship game. Not just that lost to a third-string quarterback. Embarrassing. They were losing big to the Colts. In this game, they made a comeback because Big Ben got lucky on a few passes.
You got lucky.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. My argument here is really confusing. I get that. I don't like the Steelers. I think they should have lost this game because they were supposed to lose this game because I wanted them to lose this game.
But they didn't.
But
they came back. I think it was 24-7 at one point.
And I didn't like that. Well, I liked it then, but I didn't like how it ended. 28-24. I didn't like that. Steelers were supposed to lose to the Colts because I've been saying for the past several weeks, Steelers are going to lose to the Colts. That's the one team before the Washington game that the Steelers will probably lose. Then the game comes, and the one game I want them to lose, they don't lose.
I know. It was great, wasn't it? It was a really good game. Thanks for picking that one.
I think if you beat a potential playoff team, I think you're sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I'll give the Steelers props for coming back, but if you're up 24-7 early in the third quarter and you can't score points, that's pretty bad. I mean, Phillip Rivers, come on. All these older quarterbacks just failing now. Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady, I mean, come on.
It's the worst. Actually, I kind of like it. Really interesting game for the Colts, though, because especially for that Colts defense, because we've been talking about how good that defense is there. It's pretty good, so I didn't think they'd let someone back into the game like that.
I tore up my notes. I can't talk Colts now, I guess.
I guess not. I noticed.
That's unfortunate. Nice going, Tony.
Why is it my fault?
I don't know, because you exist, I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
But come on, seriously, look. The Steelers should have lost. I think the refs bailed them out because they.
Anyways, they didn't lose that game.
But
so moving on from that game to another game that we decided to talk about that I think we'll still talk about. Maybe we'll see. I guess is the Dolphins and Raiders. What a game! I know. Drew, you might say it. I know you said it before when talking about this game the other day. You said, what a Raiders way to lose a game. But this is also a very Dolphins way to win a game. Miami Miracle is all I can think about. End of the game stuff. Tua played a pretty good game. Like we talked about, I think
especially on that final drive.
Yeah, he played great on that final drive. No, like I said, I think he needs some time in the league to really be better, especially for the Dolphins to trust him in late game situations. But yeah, Dolphins saw that they needed more. And so Fitz magic coming into the game with less than 10 minutes left, down by 3. I kind of like that dual quarterback look is, start with Tua, see where it goes, and then if not, Fitzpatrick comes in. Fitzpatrick had 9 passes and still threw 100 more yards than Tua did in 17 throws. They both had 1 touchdown. I'll go ahead and let you take it from there, Drew.
Yeah, I could not have asked for a better game. I mean, even the Raiders getting blown out, I would have not been more happy. Raiders are up by 9 points, less than 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Fitzpatrick's in the game, throws just a 5-yard slant, runs it for a touchdown. I don't know how that you could have that bad of a defensive breakdown. Okay, Raiders get the ball back, drive all the way down the field. They got 1st and goal, and they slide down twice, then kneel the ball to kick a field goal to put them back up 1 point. Now, what were you thinking? You could have iced the game by putting that ball in one of those times. You kneel the ball at the 1-yard line to take a field goal to put you up 2. Makes no sense. And then in the most Raiders way possible, Fitzpatrick goes to throw. There's a face mask. He throws it up, and it's still completed. The extra 15 yards gets him in field goal range. At that point, they kick a field goal to win the game. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. I hate the Raiders, and absolutely beautiful. Perfect way to end this game, very Raiders way. Was excited about this game. If you're looking from the Dolphins side of things, you cannot be excited. I mean, you're excited about the win. It puts you in a playoff spot. But to see your starting quarterback Tua not be able to lead you to that win, you have to rely on your backup to get you to that win. It just shows that this team is not going to be a team that's going to go to a Super Bowl. It's not going to be a team that's probably going to make a deep playoff run or anything. Because if you cannot rely on your starting quarterback, I mean, that's supposed to be your leader. That's supposed to be your guy. And it's very disappointing that Tua could not get it done. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this next week as they've got a big matchup against the Bills.
Yeah, and going back to that play, that was a vicious face mask too.
Mm-hmm.
It just turned his head all the way around, still made the throw right on line where it needed to be. I know Mahomes commented on that and said, best no-look pass of all time. Just crazy throw by Fitzpatrick. I know they did that a few games ago when they were down late, put him in for the final drive or the last few drives, and he wasn't able to get it done then. So I was really glad to see that he was able to do that and lead the team to a win, especially since I know a few of us were upset about him being taken out for Tua, even though he was winning with this team. But yeah, we'll see if they end up making that playoff push. Because they're tied right now for that. So it's really interesting. They definitely needed this win. And this win knocked out Raiders, didn't it, out of the playoffs?
Yeah,
completely.
They had to win it.
Yeah, which even then it would have been rough. They would have had to win next week and probably had to have a few teams lose for them to even get in. But now they're officially out.
Yeah, if the Raiders would have won that game, they would have ended up being eliminated on Sunday anyway.
Yeah.
But, one more thing about that throw. That face mask was insane because if you think about it, if he would not have been face masked, he would have got a little bit more under the ball. Maybe would have floated it over his head. Like, that might have been the only way it got completed was that face mask as well. I mean, just what a play. I don't know what to say. That was insane.
Well, talking about the Raiders, remember at the beginning of the season when I said that they would have a late season collapse? I was right. Typical Raiders.
Yeah.
And may I remind everyone that the precious Raiders signed John Gruden to a 10-year deal, which means you're stuck with him for 7 more years. How awesome is that? 3 years in, no playoff appearances. I'm loving this. This is going to be awesome. I think they should sign up for an extension right now.
Yeah.
Give him another 10 years.
Yeah. Start the Raiders strong every season, but then collapse when you need them to be good the most. Because it makes everyone at Chiefs Kingdom, and even Broncos, whatever you call yourself, happy to watch a divisional rival like the Raiders that everyone hates collapse. It's just...
True.
And to collapse because of a bad play call. It's beautiful.
Like, why would you do that? Get the touchdown. You're right there. No. Let's get a field goal.
Yeah. No, that did not make sense at all, especially with that little time left. Like, I don't know, because I would have put him up then over more than a field goal.
Yeah.
To where like Dolphins needed to get a touchdown, so like it doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, like you said, you want to see Raiders collapse. Speaking of teams want to see collapse, we got the Bucks versus the Lions. It's the last game we'll talk. Stafford left this game early on with an ankle injury, which doesn't seem to be too serious from what I was seeing. Probably Brady's best game all season. It was against literally one of the top 2 worst defenses. But yeah, his receiving core had a great game this game. It's 34-0 at half. Blaine Gabbert comes in at halftime, throws a touchdown on his first drive for the Bucks. One of my favorite moments of the game was seeing the 2 former Missouri quarterbacks go head to head. Chase Daniel on one side, Blaine Gabbert on the other. That was pretty cool to see. Oh yeah, and then I also have down that 9 of the Bucks' 10 wins have come from beating teams with losing records, so having one of the easiest schedules. So, anyways, Tony, what do you have on this one?
Well, I think everyone, or at least here, or at least a couple, may disagree with me, but the Buccaneers won by 40 points, 47-7,
No, I agree
to an NFL team. And it was Tom Brady who had the best half of his career, throwing 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, missing only 5 passes in the first half. He didn't play the whole game. He played the first half. And no, it was not only just the receivers, just the running backs. It was actually the whole team. And so we got this Buccaneers team is not a team to just push to the side. Again, as we've stated before, we talked about this before the podcast. Tom Brady is a good quarterback. He is not the best in the league currently. Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen are better than him this year, but he is still a good quarterback. And we cannot deny that because it's Tom Brady's playing great at 43 years old. I know many might disagree. But let's understand something. The Buccaneers are going to go 11-5 this year if they win. Are they playing? Who are they playing next week? They're playing Atlanta, and so that's at home. That should be a pretty easy one, I want to say. But looking back at the Chiefs game, that they gave the Chiefs terrible. That was a close game, but this Buccaneers team is going to the playoffs. They clinched last week. No, sorry. They clinched with this win.
Yeah.
And so this is not a team to look down upon. It's Tom Brady, for one. We all know what Tom Brady is, who he is. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And so this game, do we want to argue that it was against the Lions?
Yes.
They're 5-10. They still play good against the NFL team. And so
that Saints game.
Well, that was one game.
And the other Saints game.
And
then the other.
I count 5, bro. I count 5 lost one game.
5 losses. Yeah, 5 losses, but they're still going to the playoffs. Still a better team than any of these. Tom Brady is still better than all of those quarterbacks that did not make it, or at least some of them that didn't make it to the Super Bowl or to the playoffs.
I wouldn't say all of.
But we will not disregard who Tom Brady is. What he's doing something. He's not a Sam Darnold. He's not one of the Bengals quarterbacks. He's not Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's actually a good quarterback. And he's playing – he's not playing Super Bowl bound, but he's playing good. And to call him trash, to call him terrible is not logical at all. They're going to the playoffs.
I mean, so is Washington, but or possibly.
Nothing.
But
it's Tom. They're still going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and so is Alex Smith.
Still going to the playoffs.
An injured Alex. The only hope that Lions saw in that game was a punt return or a kick return? They got them to 7 points. Bucks won in that one 47-7. Lions Lions did not play anything. And like I said, Stafford left early. I still think Bucks would have won that one. I still think they would have, scored the 47 points. I think Stafford having to leave the game hurt the Lions quite a bit. I think they would have put up more points. But, yeah, I still think that would have been a Bucks win there.
Can I say something?
Quickly.
Yes. Okay, great. Quickly? Okay. Let's take, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or so. However long it takes to convince
Four
Tony.
to 5 or 45?
Yes, to both. Okay. We even talked about this on game day, didn't we, Tony? I do recall that Mr. Brady was playing against Detroit. The Lions. The Detroit Lions. They were trash. They're worse than the Buccaneers. I'll give you that. With or without Matthew Stafford, as Megatron said, Lions would lose either way. I agree. But to say that this is Brady's best game in his career, and regardless that it's against the Lions or against an NFL team or whatever, it's the Lions, dude. I mean, Chase Daniel, if he was playing against the Lions, which I know he's on the Lions, he would have done the same thing. He would have thrown maybe 5 touchdowns because it's the Lions. The Buccaneers walked into that game looking for a win, and that was basically just a bye week to them. It was just another bye week because it's the Lions, all right? You keep saying, and you said it all season long, that Tom Brady is the GOAT. I agree with you. He is the GOAT. You say he has 6 Super Bowls. I can read. I know he has 6 Super Bowls. But the part that you keep missing out on, and this is where our debates get really one-sided, I guess, is you keep let's see, you just miss out on the point that when we talk about Brady, we're not talking about in 21 years of Tom Brady. We're talking about the 2020 season of Tom Brady. This season only.
I've never claimed that he is the best this year.
Okay, so we all agree that he's playing terrible this year.
He's not playing. I didn't say terrible. He's not trash because he's not. He's not the best though.
On paper.
What about Josh Allen? What about Josh Allen? Josh Allen's not the best this year. He's not. He's not the best this year. Russell Wilson's not the best this year. So are we saying that because they're not the best, they're trash? No.
Because they're actually playing good.
Tom Brady is average. He's good. He's a good football player. He's a good quarterback.
Drew Lock is playing better than Tom Brady.
No, he's not.
And I hate Drew Lock.
It's about the same.
You cannot say that. No. Drew Lock is playing terrible this year.
At least Lock knows at least he knows what down he's playing.
Do you know what happened on the field? Were you there on the sideline? How do you know that? We don't know.
I watched it. I watched the game. You just look at the stat sheet. And I've been telling you.
I would say
you can't just look at the stat sheet, bro. You can't do it. You have to watch. Paper. You have to watch the game. I've been telling you all year. You have to watch the game.
On paper, Brady does look great. On paper, Brady does look great, but when you actually watch him play, even some of those touchdown throws were terrible throws that his receivers had to dive for, and he could have put it closer to them even with the defender there. And I think great quarterbacks could have gotten that, had better throws. I don't think he's like we said, we're talking about this season. He's not a great quarterback. You can look at the stats. But no, his receiver, that's one of the reasons why I said his receiving core was great this game, was because they bailed him out in a lot of situations. And you have to watch the game. You have to look at the highlights. You have to look at the film to see that stuff. Because, even Mahomes, I think I said it during the, we'll get to that game, but I said it during the Falcons game. Mahomes is playing like Brady in this game. He's missing some of the throws. He's throwing it past his receiver, and Brady's done that a lot this season. And you see that when you look at different clips. I was seeing clips today of him throwing, and he wasn't under pressure. He was throwing it straight to defenders in multiple games. It wasn't just one game. It was multiple games. He's overthrowing receivers a lot this season. Yeah, he can put up the numbers, but numbers aren't always everything. And so I don't know. He just hasn't impressed me this season. I know, like,
And
I think the Bucs look good on paper. I think they look good as a team. I still don't think they'll do that great in the playoffs, honestly. I mean, looking at actually how they play as a team. But that's just me. That's my opinion.
and you say, like, he's 43 years old. You're saying, like, no other player's done that at 43 years old. What is he doing? He's missing completions. He's not knowing what down he's on. I mean, all right, fine. I'll admit he's playing average, better than Drew Lock. Fine. I might have been a little harsh earlier, but you have to agree that Tom Brady is not the Tom Brady we're used to this year.
Of
His
course
age is
not.
catching up to him.
No. Of course not.
So
I mean, he's been playing. He's in the league for 20 years. You're going to expect that from Patrick Mahomes. You're going to expect that from any NFL quarterback. That when they get older, Peyton Manning was terrible his last year. Tom Brady, no, he's not the quarterback that we've seen in the past. He's not his 21, 22, 23-year-old self, but he's still playing good for one, his age. He's the healthiest player in the NFL. He is the healthiest player in the NFL.
Well, I think one of the reasons that Manning didn't play as good was because, I mean, he dealt with injuries. I mean, that's the thing that a lot of people talk about and is like, oh, well, Tom Brady's the best because he's played for so long. One, it's because he's wanted to. Some players just haven't wanted to. And so I don't think that takes away from how great of a player they were. And two, he hasn't dealt with injuries like other people have because the Patriots had the money, they had the ability to get the line that they did, so he could be protected, so he didn't face injuries like Manning or different ones like that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't face many injuries, but if you ever get a chance, the TB12 book talking about his workout routine, his diet, I mean, he has put in more work than any other quarterback that I've ever seen. That's why he's been able to avoid it. When I look at Tom Brady, here's my thing. I've always heard when you're looking at to diagnose a player, take away their best couple games and their worst couple games. Take those out and look at the rest of his season. So you can take away that Saints game where he looked awful. You can take away this Lions game where he looked amazing, right? What has he been? Mediocre, below average quarterback. That's all we've seen from Tom Brady this year over the course of the season. Another thing I want to mention about that is he's only looked good when he's not under pressure. If he's under pressure, he's just been taking sacks, missing open receivers. The only time is when he's not under pressure. Now, the Buccaneers do have a very good pass blocking offensive line, which should play in his favor. All those things are true, but the reason to be optimistic, his best 6 quarters of football all season, last 2 against the Falcons last week, and these 4 against the Lions this week. He is looking good right now, and if you look at the entire season, he's barely mediocre. But if you look right now, he could end up heating up for the playoffs. So I'm not going to argue too much about it. I need to see more film against a better team, against a playoff team, and we'll see that again in the wild card round.
Yeah.
He's only won 1 game over 500, and that's the Packers. Only 1.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays getting into playoffs. Yeah. So moving on from those games in that discussion, trying to limit that argument there. Just a quick rundown of the past NFL games that we didn't get to talk about. 49ers beat the Cardinals 20-12. Ravens beating the Giants 27-13. Lamar Jackson looking really good. Like Drew said about Tom Brady, really heating up before the playoffs. Will be interesting to see if the Ravens do make the playoffs. Bears beat the Jags 41-17. Bengals beat Texans 37-31. Panthers beat Washington 20-13. And Chargers beating the Broncos there 19-16. It was in that game, right, that Herbert broke the record for most touchdowns as a rookie, right? Yeah, he looks really good. Cowboys beat the Eagles 37-17. Even though the Eagles not looking at, or what, got eliminated, right? Or are they eliminated?
They're eliminated.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I still think they have some good potential there with Hurts there at quarterback. in years to come. And then Bills beating Patriots, which I also had some mixed feelings about in the comment sections on, I think, Facebook, and it was on TikTok, I think, about the Patriots possibly winning that one. They did not. Bills beat the Patriots there 38-9. Close one there. And then over this last week, as we talked about, Bucks clinching the playoffs, Raiders getting eliminated. And so, yeah, playoffs should be interesting. But then one more game to talk about, that's the Chiefs game. That was a rough game to get through. Mahomes even said he was making terrible reads. The commentators couldn't stop talking about how we should be blowing out teams like this. But as Drew said, and something that I've been thinking of a lot during games like this, is that we're still getting the win. You know, when we're getting shut down in one area, we're stepping up in another, which not very many teams can do. I mean, kind of like we were talking about with the Titans. You know, you shut down that run game, you shut down Henry, and, you know, they try and work on their passing game. It doesn't work as well. It doesn't work as well as other teams. So, you know, you shut down our run game, Mahomes can pass. You know, we have all the receivers. You shut down the passing game, you know, we have Bell. We have, you know, not as good without Edwards-Helaire, but you have that running game still there. You know, offense is getting shut down, defense steps up. And I think I've seen that in these games, that even if it's against teams that we should be winning, you know, 50-7 or whatever, we're still getting the win.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Did y'all notice that I don't know what player it was, but on the last play of the game, when the Falcons were going for the game-tying field goal, one of the defensive players did get a hand on that ball.
Oh, really?
Which, yes, the media did not cover that at the game. I thought he just missed it entirely. No, it was deflected. That's why he didn't play well. Yeah.
Because I saw the replay, and it didn't look like it, like a straight-on shot of the replay, and it didn't look like it got deflected, but I wasn't completely sure.
From what I saw this afternoon, it looked like that they did touch it. Barely, though. Barely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree with the idea of what Megatron was saying about these close games. They're still winning. They're still 14-1. Possibly will go 15-1. But let me say something, Marvin. I watched this game. I believe almost in its entirety. I missed some of the first quarter, but the Chiefs should have lost this game. That interception that cornerback should have caught, that should have been ball game, but that didn't happen. And so, you know, Chiefs got another chance. But again, they're still trying to find ways to win. The offense, again, Mahomes was not looking himself. Him and Kelsey at the beginning, or late, you know, as time grew on, they're making connections. But the defense stepped up, and you know, yeah.
Yeah, and Kelsey breaking the record there for most receiving yards.
Yeah,
by a tight end, taking that from Kittle. And then what was it? Multiple 100 reception games.
Yep.
Or something like
Seasons.
that. Or seasons, yeah. And so really, really cool to see that. I was hoping Hill would get a touchdown there. I think I talked about that last week, taking the most touchdowns by a wide receiver for the Chiefs in a season, but didn't get a touchdown. We got Chiefs winning that one 17-14. Really close game.
And I agree with you, Tony. The Chiefs should have lost that game. And I was thinking, like, after the game, there's a lot of games we should have lost this year. And we didn't. Like, I don't know, that Saints game, we could have lost that one. I think we played better in that game than this Falcons game by a whole lot. But that Chargers game, we should have lost. That Broncos game in Arrowhead, we should have lost.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot.
Ravens,
right?
too. Wasn't it Ravens on Monday night? Came down to the
No.
goal, right?
Ravens was a blowout.
No, that's right. No, it was the game before that. I think, right? Where it came down to the game-winning field goal.
Ravens came down to a game-winning field goal, wasn't it?
No,
because Butker hit 3 field goals all 50-yarders, right?
That was a Chargers game.
Or was it a different game?
Was that a Charger?
Yeah,
Okay, it was a
it?
Charger game.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the week before.
Probably 2 touchdowns against the Ravens.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was the week before.
Ravens.
Or it was one of those. Yeah, Ravens 34-20. So, yeah. So, and then Chargers 23-20. So, yeah. As I thought, it was one of those early on games.
Yeah. And my point was that, yeah, we should have lost the game, but we should have lost a lot of other games. And even though we play bad, we still find ways to win, which is pretty crazy. So.
Yeah. I was very disappointed. I'm not going to lie. We got the win, right? But as a Chiefs fan, I'm going to be a little bit more critical of the team. This is definitely a game that we should have lost. I'm going to say that this is the first one that I actually felt like that we were going to lose the entire way through, even though there were some others that we were going to that we were very close in. This is the first one that I actually thought we would lose, and we ended up winning, thankfully. But we just played bad in this game. The offense, we were missing everyone. Defense did step up, but it's against the Falcons team that hasn't been very good. Matt Ryan has not been very good this year, especially when dealing with pressure. And we got Chris Jones and Frank Clark getting that pressure. We did not play good, and that scares me going into the playoffs. But at the same time, we didn't play with any sense of urgency. We threw to Patrick Mahomes on 4th and 1 in the first quarter in field goal range. Who throws a pass to your quarterback? The Chiefs were bored, and they just did not care at that moment. And I don't know how I feel about that, how they just kind of look bored out there a little bit, and they're just trying to make something interesting happen. But on 4th and 1, first quarter in a regular season game, to throw to your quarterback, who has been injured as soon as last season, it's just a little bit of an interesting move. So I don't think the Chiefs ever felt like they were threatened in this game, but definitely a game that could have went away from us due to that lack of urgency.
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I was just gonna say real quick that I think that was the second time we went for it on 4th down in that drive, too. I'm pretty sure because we got the first one, but I was talking about it with someone I think right after it happened that kind of was saying that like, why would you do that? That's ridiculous that you would do it. But I said I don't think people would feel like that if they ended up pulling it off, if he would have scored the touchdown. Because you think about that, Andy Reid does that at the end of season. It seems like, you think about the Dontari Poe run, for the touchdown. You think about the Dontari Poe pass for the touchdown. If that didn't work, if his pass got picked, then we've been like, what? Like, why would you do that? It worked. People loved it. If that pass to Mahomes would have worked, I think people would have loved it. The fact that it didn't, I think is the reason why it's criticized. And I mean, you could say rightfully so, because it was 4th and 1, like I said, field goal range right there at the goal line. Like if he would have passed it, then we probably would have gotten it. If we would have ran it, probably would have gotten it. But no, I definitely get what you're saying though.
Yeah, and I've heard that argument where the Chiefs were bored, and like they're saying even during the game, like the Chiefs could just turn it on like that, and I can see it, but the way they're playing, I don't know. The way they're playing in this game, I'm just not sure they really had it to turn it on. But it could have just been this game in general. I really don't know, because that game was really confusing. It was like the weirdest game all season, and we haven't won by that low number of points in a very long time.
I mean, a lot of our defense was hurt too.
Yeah, but I don't know. The game was just really weird to me. I'm glad we won, but I don't know. It was just a weird game.
And with a lot of the defense being hurt, the defense just looked tired out there, especially towards the end of the game. That's why I was worried when Falcons were driving it down the field. I knew we needed to stop, but I knew our defense looked tired. But yeah, definitely glad to get the win. I'm definitely glad to go and seal up getting the bye week, so way our guys can rest some, come back from injury, start healing. They're close to being injured, the ones like that. So, but yeah, definitely glad to get the win there.
Yeah, and we're not like the Bills and the Packers who are playing super hot football right now and look unbeatable right now. So the bye week isn't going to cool us off, I would say. What it's going to do is it's going to allow Andy Reid another week to prepare. I'm very happy with the bye week. If I was the Bills or Packers, maybe a little different, but for the Chiefs, this is definitely very good for them.
Yeah, for sure. And any other year, I feel like we'd be hot going into the playoffs. have all guys healthy. And so I'd say, like, I don't really want the bye week. Like, I want to go ahead and play another team. But yeah, with this year, like I said, it's not really going to cool us off any. It's going to help us recover to heat up, likely, anyways, I think. So
That
we'll
and the
see.
last team to go to the Super Bowl without a bye week was the Packers in 2010. So if you want to go to Super Bowl, you need that bye week because it's easier to win 2 games than 3.
Yeah, no, that's true. Speaking of playoffs, we'll go ahead and quickly jump into what to look forward to over this next week as an NFL fan. We'll run through who we think will make the playoffs. We're trying to figure out how exactly to do this section, whether to call primetime games. We will still talk about that late night Sunday night game. Still talk about the Chiefs game, but I thought we'd talk about who is going to make the playoffs, both for the AFC and the NFC. Whoever wants to go first, who do you think is going to make it?
I guess I'll go. I want Browns to make it. They now as of I need Browns to make it. As of this past Saturday, the Buccaneers made the playoffs for the first time since 2007, which means the Browns now have the longest drought in the playoff history.
Or 2002, right?
Yeah. So I want Browns in, and Mason Rudolph is starting for Pittsburgh, correct? If he is starting, then Browns should make it because they just need to win. They win, they're in. So I want Browns in. I don't expect them to do anything. I want them in. And I expect Dolphins to get out. Dolphins are out.
So you think it's going to be Browns, Ravens, Titans, Colts?
Yeah. Someone else can go.
Do you have anything else for any?
Oh, in
different from
NFC,
that?
right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much a lot. See, Rams. Rams are not going to make it. If Goff is out, they're not making it.
So what, you're calling Washington, Bears, Cardinals, locking it in?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If that's not clear to people or to myself.
All right, I can go next. So right now the Colts sit out of the playoffs. Only team that cannot win and get in from the AFC side of things. I expect the Colts to still get that win. Are they playing the Jaguars? Are they playing the Texans?
Jaguars.
Jaguars, yeah, they should win that game. I expect the Titans to beat the Texans. I expect the Ravens to easily be able to handle the Bengals. So it's going to come down to the Browns and the Dolphins for those last 2 spots, unless they both win. I don't think the Bills are going to let off the gas because if the Bills were to lose and the Steelers were to win, Steelers would take the 2 seed. So they could flip that seeding. So the Bills are going to try to win that game. They should win that game. That'll put the Dolphins at a loss. And with Mason Rudolph playing and a few other of the Steelers' key players going to be out, I think the Browns win that game. Dolphins would then be out of the playoffs. Sadly, I would like to see them in, but the schedule does not favor them.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, too, that I think kind of like we talked about, I don't think they're really ready for the playoffs right now with Tua. Good team there. I'm really looking forward to their future. I don't know if they're playoff ready. I don't think the playoffs really need them because I think that Browns, Ravens, Titans, Colts, I think those teams there will make it better playoffs than having the Dolphins in it.
More interesting anyway.
Yeah.
I still think the Dolphins are a very good team. I think they'd be a 4 or a 5th best team in the NFC behind the Seahawks, Saints, Packers, and then maybe the Bucks. They'd be in that range. So they're still a very good team. On the NFC side, the big one is going to be the Cardinals versus the Rams. Big game, obviously, with Goff not playing, but Kyler Murray is not for sure playing either. He got hurt in his last game. And so it should be interesting. Cliff Kingsbury is optimistic that he will play, but it's not a for sure thing. I think if Kyler is out, I think the Rams win this game. If Kyler is in, I think the Cardinals take this game. Either way, though, I don't see the Bears beating the Packers, so I see both of these teams. So then I would have the Rams in the playoffs, and then the Cardinals with Kyler Murray getting in the playoffs as well. With that win, the Rams would stay as the 7th seed and have to play against the 2-seeded Saints. in that scenario. And then in the NFC East, obviously the Eagles getting eliminated. Unfortunate for them, but they've had a breakdown year. I mean, it's been a dysfunctional organization for a little while, for most of this season until Hurts started. And even at that, I know a lot of people wanted to go back to Wentz. A lot of the older players like Jason Kelsey and Zach Ertz. But then you've got the football team. It's just a win you're in scenario. With Alex Smith back, I can't imagine them losing this game. So I think the Cowboys, Eagles, or Giants game will not matter. I think the football team gets in at that last spot.
So what, you have Washington, Cardinals, and Rams?
Yeah.
No, because they're not the Bears. So that's a switch up from Marvin's.
Well, I think I agree with you guys 100% on the AFC. I don't think the Dolphins go. Again, since you said that Rudolph is starting for Steelers, I think Browns are going to take it, take the win. And so, Dolphins go out, Colts get in, because Colts are playing Jacksonville, the worst team in the NFL record-wise. So I agree with you on that. NFC, I agree. I think the Bears do go to the playoffs. I don't think Arizona is going to beat LA. And so that would leave Cardinals out. Bears would take the 7th seed. Now, NFC, the East, I think Washington wins the division. The only way that they can't would be a loss and a Cowboy win, right? So, and I don't see the Redskins losing to the Eagles.
Who?
If the Redskins lose, they're out. The Giants or the Cowboys winner of that game would get in.
Okay.
Did I say I have Bears going?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to say that. I don't think Bears are going to make it. I got Washington making it. I got Arizona making it.
The only reason I think the Bears are going to make it is because Arizona, I think, will lose against LA.
Against a backup quarterback? Because Goff is out 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And
That is true.
And their backup is...
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Oh, so this is your last chance to switch. Are the Rams
I'm going to go with
winning?
it. I'm going with it.
All right. So I look forward to next week when you're wrong. Like always.
We'll see.
Because
I
Rams hold
had
the tiebreaker.
I had
Yeah,
Bears
good
going
Bears.
in.
I actually have Bears too, but actually looking at it, I think Bears will lose. I think Rams will lose, but Rams still hold the tiebreaker over the Bears.
Bears aren't going. Why was younger than me thinking?
What's interesting about those 3 teams right there is any of them win, they're in. If the Cardinals win, they get in. Rams win, they get in. Bears win, they get in. The Cardinals and Bears still could both make it. If they both win, then the Bears would have and Cardinals would both have the tiebreaker over the Rams. So it's win you're in for all 3 of those teams.
I'm excited for the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teams that didn't even make playoffs last year that are they're about to make it. It's really, really interesting.
Like Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to see the Buccaneers go all the way.
You know
Anyways, so
I want a Chiefs Buccaneers Super Bowl in Tampa Bay with Patrick Mahomes winning and settling the GOAT debate like that.
Yep.
Because that'll be the final matchup.
That's only 2.
What? Yes, but it's
Yeah,
GOAT
2 for
versus
2.
the next GOAT. That's like Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Was Jordan okay? In this case, it'd be LeBron winning. So Mahomes beats Brady. LeBron beats Jordan. Make sense? You don't do basketball, so it doesn't make any sense to you.
Then Mahomes will be 100% on Super Bowl wins.
That's right.
Unlike Brady.
2-0 versus 6-3.
When Mahomes is 43.
Oh my!
And he has 6 Super Bowls.
Even if he has 7 Super Bowls, but he only plays till he's 40, Tony's
if
still
he has
gonna
7 Super Bowls,
and Tony's still going to be like, well, he didn't play till he's 43.
Oh,
Name me another 43-year-old quarterback.
7 Super Bowls. We'll see. He hasn't played 20 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for him to since he's in his 20s.
Therefore, we can't call him the GOAT.
He's
So,
I could see
so
him getting
moving
there,
on.
though. I could see him getting there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Pretty
I'm not
soon.
arguing that. I'm just saying we can't say that yet.
We can't, but pretty
What
much
if he has
sure
what
that
if he
way.
has a season career-ending injury?
Well, that'd be unfortunate,
Like
and you would love that too
basically
much.
what
So that
this
better not
season,
happen.
like basically what the season has been for Brady.
Ooh.
Anyways, moving on. So predictions for this next week. Like I said, we're talking about Sunday night's game. All the games being on Sunday. The game of the week: Washington versus Eagles. Should be interesting because Washington wins, they're in. So it really is a
Sunday night
game to
football.
watch for that. Yeah, I don't know why that one is when there's a lot of other big games that
I'd rather watch
have
Tom
playoff
Brady.
implications. Oh wow, that's saying a lot.
And yeah.
So what do you guys have for this one? Does Washington make the playoffs with this win?
Yeah.
Or if they win?
Yes, they do. They better. If they don't, I'm going to feel bad for Alex Smith, put it that way.
Yeah.
He needs to because of what he's been through the past few years. Even though they won't do anything in the playoffs, just being there is good enough for them. For them anyway. Can't speak.
Yeah, and the football team's defense is very good. All they need is an offense, and they've been okay with Alex Smith, so it should be pretty interesting. I think they can get this win for sure.
You guys have scores for that?
Yeah, I'll go 22-16 football team.
I got Washington winning, or football team. I still don't like calling them that. The Washington football team. Anyway, I got Washington winning against the Eagles, 34-17. 34-17.
I got Washington winning 35-21.
High scoring game there for Washington. I got them winning. Washington winning 23-17. Yeah, I think they'll go ahead and clinch the playoffs with that. I'm interested to see how they'll do in the playoffs. I don't think they'll really do much. I mean, they're playing the Bucs, so I mean they could win.
Oh,
They'll lose.
You know what? You know what? If that's how it goes, I might have to change when we talk about who wins next week. I might for a change not root for Tom Brady. Might be a little.
Would you really
For
pick
once.
the Redskins over the Buccaneers?
There is no Redskins, so I don't know why.
Washington football team.
There you go. Would I pick them against Tom Brady with the Washington's defense who beat Pittsburgh? Yes, I would. I would pick Washington.
And it's Alex Smith,
That too.
the GOAT.
Who's playing on one leg? Can Tom Brady do that? I don't think so.
That's true. That must mean he's the best.
GOAT.
The GOAT. All right, then the Chiefs game. What to look forward to as a Chiefs fan? I'm really excited for this one. Playing against the Chargers, like we said, really close game. 23-20? The last time we played, Herbert just broke the record for most touchdowns by a rookie. I think it'll be a close game. I think we could still win, but I was looking at it, and the Chiefs are the underdogs for this game. They're set as the underdogs. People are predicting the Chargers to win this game, kind of understandably so. Like I've talked about, the Chargers have a good team there. Herbert is playing great. You look at the record, having a terrible season, which I hate for how good of a team they are. And then plus the Chiefs resting a lot of guys. What do you think? Do we get the win this week?
Well, Travis Kelce said himself, if I'm not mistaken, he wants to go for 15-1, and I want to go to 15-1 too. So I want Chiefs to win because Chiefs have never won 14 games in a season before, so it'd be nice to go 15. But yeah, I want Chiefs to win. But will they? I don't know. Toss it.
Do you have a score for that one?
Chiefs win. Yeah. Okay. Chiefs win 21-17. Yeah.
I have Chiefs winning 23-20.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs taking this game 27-24. I think even if Mahomes doesn't take a snap, I think they could still win this game because we beat the Vikings last year with Matt Moore at quarterback. The Vikings were a playoff team, Chargers obviously not. And Chad Henne is our new backup over Matt Moore. Matt Moore is still in the practice squad, so obviously they see something in him. So I think we can still take this game. It could go either way, but I think we'll still take this one.
Yeah, no, I got the same score, Chiefs 27-24. I think it'll be another 3-point game there. I could see the Chargers winning. I won't really be completely disappointed if they do. Like I said, that's a good team there. I think if they win, they deserve it. They deserve to have a win at the end of the season against a good Chiefs team. But at the same time, there's that we're resting a lot of guys, and it's not going to mean as much. But I think if the Chargers win, it'll be good for them to get that. Even though I don't want to see that happen.
It is technically a meaningless game, but 15-1 sounds too nice. It just sounds too nice. Right,
True.
Tony? Right.
Yeah, no. Chiefs are gonna. I think they'll win this even without Mahomes. I think they will.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like I said, for that one. Looking forward to playing Herbert again.
But no, it doesn't look good.
I think it does.
For a Denver fan.
That looks fantastic for a Chiefs fan. Especially seeing Denver eliminated so early out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. You should have started Bortles. I told you.
Yeah, that works out.
Now he's gone. Can't even start him anymore. All right, so to wrap it up, coming up in Chiefs or in Kansas City area sports news. Last week I said Missouri is going to play in the Music City Bowl in Nashville against Iowa. They're no longer playing that game due to COVID, due to injuries, due to, I think, a lot of our players going to, or at least 2 players committing to go to the NFL. I think they just decided to call off that bowl game. And then the Chiefs, the last game of the season at home and the last game for a couple weeks, Chiefs play the Chargers at 3:25. Thank you, Marvin, Drew, Tony, for your comments. And thank you to the fans for supporting, listening, commenting. You can listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and most streaming devices. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. This has been another KC Sports Memes podcast.